Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a supernatural slasher film, Stay Alive. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. One night, a nerdy guy is staring at the screen of his computer, focusing on a video game. He is a senior video game player and tester for new games. As requested by the game developer, he starts to test a new game called Stay Alive before its official launch to the market. However, he feels terrified after testing, as if something has been haunting him. He's even awakened by nightmares, in which the red-dressed countess from the game is charging at him. One night, in a daze, he opens the door of his parents' bedroom, and is astonished to find all his friends died there, which is exactly the same as what has happened in the game. He rushes downstairs in no time. However, a chain comes out of nowhere and hangs him to death, the same as all the happenings in the game. His friend Hodge learns about his death very soon. He attends the nerdy guy's funeral in great sorrow, and runs into the sister of the nerdy guy, who gives him a bag filled with the video game Stay Alive. That night, Hodge hangs out with friends in a bar, trying to grab some drink to ease his stress. During the meeting, the bartender girl notices the game from the bag. Hodge tells her that it's a brand new game that hasn't been released yet. After learning that the nerdy guy always played it until his death, all Hodge's friends become more curious, since they are all addicted to video games. They don't believe the game has anything to do with the nerdy guy's death. So they are deeply attracted and decide to play this game together in Hodge's house later. Hodge also invites the blonde girl Abby to join the game, the one he just met during the funeral. Since his boss is also obsessed with playing games, Hodge also invites him to join their team. They all enter the game, and soon find out its differences. The animation for the game intro is not able to be skipped, and there is an oration before the animation, which could be run fast or slow, according to their reading speed. After the oration, the system warns them that once the game starts, there is no return button. All of these are so frightening and scaring. Taking the Duod Manor as the background, the game tells the story of a countess who killed so many innocent girls and turned into an evil spirit after her death. The task for each player is to survive the hunting from the evil countess. They choose their favorite avatars and starts the game soon. Hodge goes first to explore the path, but triggers the ground to tremble by accident. Meanwhile, the room the team stay in reality also starts to tremble slightly. After Hodge kills an evil spirit, they receive a rose, which could dispel evil spirits. Then this team enjoy their slaughtering of evil spirits. After separating with other team members during playing, the avatar of Hodge's boss goes into a tunnel alone, and finds a place similar to a torture house, where reside numerous evil spirits. Finding himself surrounded by so many evil spirits, the boss throws out the rose, trying to dispel them. But it's too difficult to handle so many evil spirits by himself. He becomes panicked, and is jabbed by the coming red-dressed countess. In reality, the boss is in terror, and feels like it's real. After the boss's death in the game, the team decides to quit the game, since it's getting late. In the meantime, the boss is about to leave the office, but notices the door of his office keeps opening automatically, although he confirms it's already locked by himself. He's horrified by that. When it starts to show lightning and thundering outside, he sees a weird shadow showing up in the corridor, which looks just like the red-dressed countess. As he returns to close the office door one more time, he sees the dropped mouse, and is about to pick it up from the ground. The red-dressed countess appears right in front of him. The boss screams out, but only gets stabbed in the throat by a sword. The next day, when Hodge goes to the office, he learns of the boss's death from the policemen in their company. In shock, he goes for a check, and finds his boss died, exactly the same way as his avatar in the game. After all the tragedies that happened to the nerdy guy and his boss, Hodge falls into huge depression and horror toward the evil game. But the detective doesn't want to take it seriously, and tries to calm him down, believing that it's just a coincidence. Later, Hodge learns from the bartender girl that she seemingly saw the countess' shadow staggering by the window. Hodges is turned even more anxious by that. So he searches the investigation files online regarding the death of the nerdy guy, from which he finds again the way the nerdy guy died is still exactly the same as how he died in the game. Realizing the danger and curse of the game, Hodge then shares the files with the team right away, and everybody is startled by that. In the meantime, the bartender's brother, one of the team members, is going out shopping. As the sunny day is covered with heavy mist instantly, a mysterious little girl shows up out of nowhere in front of his car, causing him to swerve off the road to avoid hitting on her. After that, he can't restart the engine, gets off the car to check around, and calls for help in anxiety. While he's waiting for the aid, an old carriage rushes out from the mists and runs him over, killing him immediately. The bartender girl cries with big sorrow for her brother's death. Hodge later finds out the brother died in the game at the same time, who was also knocked over by a carriage. The detective shows up again, but still believes it has nothing to do with the game. Right then, the detective's assistant shows his interest in the game and starts to play. Hodge tries to stop him, but it's too late. The assistant, a game newbie however, dies very soon after the game begins. Noticing this haunting game is getting out of control, they decide to look for more clues. The assistant tries to get some information from local game stores, but no one knows anything about it. When the assistant is on his way back to the police station, his head is crushed by a huge iron tong, the same way as how his avatar died in the game. Meanwhile, Hodge and Abby come to the nerdy guy's house, trying to find more clues of his death. Hodge discovers some information about the game developer, so they set out to check the address they found. But the bartender girl has a different idea, since she has found some clues from a book telling how to kill an evil spirit. She tells Hodge about that on the phone. Then she learns from the TV news that the detective's assistant is dead. And what's worse, Hodge and their friends are all listed as the most wanted people. With the siren hooting, the police approach near their house. So the bartender girl and her friend escape from the window to avoid being arrested. Hodge decides to meet others first and discusses how to get out of the trouble later. When Hodge and Abby arrive at the friend's house, the bartender girl is smoking outside, and they notice her avatar starting to move in the game. Hodge blames her for playing the game alone without listening to him. But the friend tells him that she actually didn't touch the game and the laptop just turns on by itself. In panic, they rush to look for the bartender girl, but she's already in real trouble. The countess suddenly appears in the room where she stays for her smoking. With the method taught from the book, she tries to nail the countess to death. However, when taking up the nail gun, she realizes what she saw now is just a phantom. Then the countess shows up suddenly behind her, chains her neck from the back, and hangs her upside down. The other three arrive there the moment they hear the bartender girl screams. But it's still too late, her throat has been cut off. Hodge regrets it a lot, and falls into a rage. He decides to find the countess's flesh, and put an end to the tragedies once for all. After learning how the game plays, the bartender's friend decides to enter the game again, and uses himself as bait to locate the countess. While Hodge and Abby head out again to the game developer's accommodation. Shortly after, the friend realizes the game developer resides next to the Duod Manor, so he informs Hodge in a hurry, and suggests he checks it for sure. Moments later, Abby is getting upstairs alone, and discovers a secret chamber behind a removable closet, where she sees countless files and documents about the countess. As she is browsing the countess's diary, the lights dim suddenly. There emerges the image of the countess. Meanwhile, following the friend's instructions, Hodge is on his way to the cemetery of the old manor and the dark tower, which is used to suppress the countess's flesh. When he is about to get through, he hears Abby's calling for help. Under the friend's guide, he returns and manages to enter the chamber from outside. After seeing the countess is gonna kill Abby, the friend who is still playing in the game throws out 3 roses, and then the countess is dispelled. Hodge arrives and saves Abby. However, the friend who is instructing them outside discovers that the countess has been irritated because the back door of his van is closed suddenly, causing his laptop to be locked inside and the paused game to restart automatically. The friend has to break the window and tries to rescue himself in the game. Sensing the danger later, the friend escapes from the van and plans to meet Hodge. In a panic, he gets lost and runs into a rosebush by accident, which however, prevents him from being killed by the countess. Meanwhile, when Hodge and Abby return to the van and find the friend who died in the game, they think the friend is killed. In a rage, they resolve to terminate the countess and eliminate the devil. They take nails and roses with them, break into the cemetery, and enter the path leading to the Dark Tower. Upon their entry, all sorts of evil spirits swarm to attack them. Fortunately, thanks to the magic power of Rose, Hodge dispels an evil carriage and flocks of rampaging evil spirits. But later, when they enter the evil torture room, Abby is locked up inside due to her hesitation. Trembling with fear though, Abby gives Hodge a lighter to complete the remaining mission and takes his rose for temporary protection. She hides inside the horrible torture room, but only sees the rose withering in terrifying surroundings. Moments later, Abby is easily overpowered by the countess, hung upside down, crying in fear and despair. On the other side, Hodge finally reaches the top floor of the tower, where he finds the flesh of the countess finally. Hodge nails her forehead and her body immediately. Because of that, the countess's phantom disappears from the torture room, which spares the suffering Abby. When Hodge thinks he's accomplished the final mission, the countess stands up, with all nails on her flesh pushed out to the ground. In a panic, Hodge lights up the flesh immediately and hurls into the corner right away to avoid the flames. Right then, Abby and the friend get Hodge out of the dark tower and flee out of that place. Later, much to their surprise, the game Stay Alive is approved and launched into the market, indicating that numerous new players will be trapped in the game, and the curse of the evil countess will be attached to these players soon. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.